Hey everyone, it's been a while, and I just had something very powerful in my heart that I would like to share with all of you. That has been sort of bubbling in my spirit for the last few days. So it's so great to be back with you all. I hope I'm not going to be too long, and that this will be a captivating message. So I quickly want to talk to you about the story of Joseph, Judah, and some principles of recovery that I've discovered out of this amazing true Bible story. So these principles are very powerful, and they're all about Joseph and Judah, as I've mentioned before. So it's not this story of Judah and Joseph is not just a story of betrayal, hardship, and triumph, but it's also one filled with lessons that can apply to recovery, especially when dealing with sexual addiction. So I'd like us to take a journey through the story very quickly to see how it reveals principles that we can live by as we fight for freedom, healing, and transformation. So the first point is betrayal and the wind of broken trust. So the story begins with Joseph. As most of you will know, he was his father's favorite. He was loved more than any other of his brothers. But this favoritism sparked deep resentment in the hearts of his brothers. So that's a challenge. And what did these brothers do? They betrayed him. They threw him into a pit. They sold him into slavery. They cut him off from his father and everything that he knew. And I think many of the ladies watching this process would feel like that. If you've been through betrayal, you often feel cut off, high levels of resentment, betrayed, abused, sold into slavery, all these rules. What is it that I must do? What is it that I mustn't do? How is it that I wasn't good enough for this person? Cut off from the father. There's a separation that happens in this process. And this is something that many of the ladies that I've spoken to can absolutely relate with. So in recovery, we can absolutely relate to this betrayal trauma, they call it. And whether you've been experiencing or have personal experience with it, or you have caused it, there's definitely levels of this story that would resonate with you. So sexual addiction is often rooted in broken trust, where either we have been betrayed or we have betrayed those we love most. Now, I know I can hear some of the ladies gasping and saying, like, he doesn't love me. Well, how could he do this if he loved me? I can assure you, from a man's perspective, it absolutely doesn't make sense even to us. But most of the guys that come across my process or my journey would tell me that they absolutely do love their partners, and that's this illness, the sickness that's deep inside of them that has forced them to do this thing. Absolutely, they had choices. They could reach out for help, but they chose. Most of the men chose to to um, to throw them deeper into the shame and the hurt and the guilt that their behavior has caused. So the first principle that we can take from Joseph's story is the fact that we have to face the pain of betrayal and broken trust. This is where healing starts for both parties, the wives or the ladies who have been betrayed, and some men who have been betrayed, and the betrayer, if it's the lady that's done betrayal work or the husband that's done the betrayal, the act of betrayal. It has to start with facing the pain of betrayal and broken trust. This is where healing starts. The moment I decide that I am going to face the pain, healing will start. That healing necessarily not for the relationship, but first for the individual. I think the individual in this process is more important than the relationship, because if we can help both individuals heal, then there is a chance for the relationship to heal as well. So the second point is standing the test of character. Now, Joseph's life took a massive turn, like any lady or any husband, any person who's been through betrayal would take. He was sold. He was slowly sold. He was sold into slavery. He was thrown into prison unjustly. He faced challenge after challenge. There's one constant in Joseph's life at this point, and that is his character. He stood the test of integrity. Even when tempted by Potiphar's wife, he refused to give in, to the point where she tore his clothes. Even through doing so, he would have made his life easier in the short term. So if he had given in and he had given her what she wanted, it would have made his life easier in the short term. So I think that is also a very important lesson, is that we have to have integrity under pressure. We have to have a long-term view. We do not do quick fixes. We have to live a way that would be a testimony to the character of our true personality, who we really are. We have to start to shine. Addiction happens in the shadows of betrayal and deceit. And if it is inside of us, we have to rise to live a life that is embodied by light and truth and God's truth. In Grace Online, at Grace Online, we have this specific saying, speak the damn truth, and in every session we repeat that as part of our preamble, because recovery is not possible if we are not willing to speak the damn truth. And we will tell that to the men, we tell that to the ladies. Share with us how you're feeling. And this is true absolutely from the highest level to the lowest level. I have no problem taking off my mask and sharing with people where I am at currently. And I do that often in meetings. I'll do that anywhere. So whether you're dealing with sexual addiction or other struggles, maybe that's just betrayal or intimate betrayal, or you've been unfaithful, the real test is often when no one is watching. That is when it matters most. Who am I in the dark, or when my behavior is hidden? Recovery asks us to be like Joseph, to walk in integrity, even when you are tempted, even when it's easier to give in, even when there are many shortcuts. It's about choosing character over compromise. So that is the second most important point. It says standing in the test of character. The third one is willing to rise above my circumstances. Despite all the betrayals and challenges that Joseph had to go through, he still decided, or had the determination to rise to the top in every single situation. He becomes second in command of Egypt, overseeing the survival of nations during famine. His journey is a powerful reminder that our circumstances do not define us. The content of our character defines us. Who God says I am defines me. There's a huge difference between behavior and identity. We need to learn how to separate behavior from identity. I am not what I have done. I am who God says I am. This does not give my behavior, this does not give me excuse to have rubbish behavior. It actually is an excuse not to have rubbish behavior, because if I live according to who God says I am, then I will start to rise and become better in every aspect of my life. So in recovery, this is the third principle that I'd like to talk to us about today. So don't let your past or your current circumstances dictate your future. So decide to rise above the temptations, the challenges, the extreme pain that you may be facing, whether you've fallen into addiction or whether you've been hurt by the actions of others. Your story doesn't end there. Like Joseph, you too can rise above the storm, go through the storm, go into the depth of who you can become. And now I have a phone call here, but fortunately, we do believe in speaking the truth. So I'm just quickly opening up the gate here. Okay, and let's see if I can get this done quickly. So, like Joseph, you can rise above. The key is persistence, willingness to surrender, and to trust in God's greater plan. The surprising role of Judah and the power of sacrifice. That's the fourth point. Now, here's where the story takes an interesting turn. Joseph's brothers came to him for food during the famine, the same guys that betrayed him earlier, not knowing that the powerful man in front of them is their brother, the very one that they had betrayed. This is a testament to how God can change your situation. If you have been betrayed, then he will restore you. But here's the twist. When Joseph tests them, it's Judah, the same brother who initially suggested selling Joseph into slavery, who steps up. The guy that betrayed took a step up. Judah was the betrayer. He stood up. When Benjamin, their father's new beloved son, the second born of his beloved wife, is at risk of being enslaved, Judah offers himself to Benjamin in Benjamin's behalf. Judah is willing to sacrifice for his brother. And it's this act of love and responsibility that moves Joseph to reveal his identity and bring about reconciliation. Guys, so everything's just about going crazy, and my dogs are barking. I just want to get this message through. I hope you can't hear them. So Judah's actions point us to Jesus, who ultimately gave himself as a sacrifice for us all. And this brings us to the fourth recovery principle. Sacrifice for others brings healing. Whether you're on the one in recovery or supporting someone who is in recovery, the journey isn't just about you. It's about taking responsibility, standing in the gap, and making sacrifices for those we love, just like Judah did for Benjamin, just like Jesus did for all of us. Here's what's powerful. Even though Joseph's story is remarkable, Jesus didn't come from Joseph's line. I mean, I wish I had time and space to go deeper into this. Jesus didn't come from Joseph's line. Jesus didn't come from Joseph's line. He came from Judah's line. The very brother who led the betrayal was the one whose lineage would eventually bring the Savior into the world. And why? Because Judah's heart changed. He learned what it meant to love sacrificially. This is hope for all of us in recovery. No matter where you've been or what you've done, there's always a way forward. You can rebuild trust. You can live in integrity and be a source of healing for those around you. So as we reflect on Joseph and Judah's story, let's remember a few principles. Face the pain. Walk in integrity. Don't let your past define your future. Sacrifice for others, because healing is found in love and responsibility. This, guys, is the heart of recovery. This is the heart of transformation. And I like thank you for sticking around, listening to this video right till the end. Maybe listen to it again, grab a pen and paper, take some notes. And thanks for joining today. And I'd like to invite every single person who's been betrayed, who has done betrayal, to keep on moving forward one step at a time with God's grace every single day going forward. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to me. I hope you will have a phenomenal day. And if this story touched anyone's heart here, please do reach out. Please do let me know. Send me a direct message, and we will connect again soon. Thanks, guys. Cheers.